Dear students of class 9A and 9B, today's teaching as per the following points mentioned in the board: Sher Shah Suri and his administration, second Akbar and his administrative system, third one of empire, and fourth Akbar's court. The first one, Sher Shah Suri and his administration. Sher Shah Suri introduced a good administration in the country. He shifted his capital. He established a new dynasty in Delhi. What he had been dreaming, that the day would come in his life he would be able to establish his own dynasty in Delhi. The Mughal ruler Humayun and his weakness attracted Sher Shah. When he was Sher Khan, not Sher Shah, and only the Zagirdar of Sasaram in Bihar, he remained busy in suppressing the local revolts. But at the same time, he was conscious of the political career he wanted to establish. Meanwhile, he noticed that Mughal army under Humayun was trying to capture Sasaram. He protested it, and his protest gave him a great chance to capture Delhi, to occupy Delhi. So, the forces of Humayun were defeated in two battles fought between Humayun and Sher Khan. In the last battle, the Battle of Kannauj in the year 1740, Sher Shah defeated Humayun, and Humayun, in order to save his life, he escaped from the battlefield. And then Sher Shah established a new dynasty, named it Sur dynasty. Sher Shah introduced a good system of revenue administration. In his administration, there was a good system of measuring the lands of the peasants and farmers. There was no inequality between rich and poor, high and low. Everyone was treated equally, impartially. A good system of administration was introduced by Sher Shah. In his administration, there was a good system of measuring agricultural lands, and taxes also were imposed as per the character of the lands. Peasants and farmers were provided with loans. They were provided good quality seeds for their agriculture. So, during the reign of Sher Shah Suri, the people of Delhi were happy, rich and prosperous. But Sher Shah Suri's death created an atmosphere his weak successor, Sikandar Shah, could not stop the grievances of the people. and led a very luxurious life. By taking these advantages, Humayun attacked Delhi and defeated Sikandar Shah, the last Afghan ruler, and re-established the Mughal dynasty in India. The administration which was introduced by Sher Shah was out and out good in the country, since there was huge amount of revenues, huge amount of taxes collected from different sources. Besides, people were rich, happy and prosperous. Law and order was established strictly and strongly. There was no foreign invasion. Sher Shah extended many parts of his kingdom throughout India. Sher Shah's in the administration of Sher Shah, the group of people appointed, they all were skillful, talented, and hence Sher Shah was able to establish a good system of administration in the country. Now Akbar was the eldest son of Humayun. Akbar ascended the throne at the age of 13 under the guidance of Bairam Khan. But on being matured one, Akbar declared himself the Emperor of India and came out of the control of Bairam Khan. In his reign, before Akbar, there was a system. Before Akbar, there was a system introduced for the governors to collect taxes for their respective provinces to pay themselves, and the balance to the Emperor of Delhi. But Akbar ordered that all taxes should be paid into the royal treasury. That means the entire system of collecting revenues and taxes, Akbar himself brought it under his own hand. There was no media, there was no third party. That means those who are supposed to pay taxes and revenues, they were given time. Time was permitted to pay taxes and revenues directly to the royal treasury, not via the local rulers or nawabs. In his administration, Akbar introduced the Mansabdars, the special post Akbar introduced. What was the Mansabdar? In his administration, Akbar created some new posts in his administration. There was Mir Bakshi, there was Diwan, there was Qazi. They all were the special officers in his administration. Mansabdar were the nobles or rank holders. They were not paid salaries. Instead, they were given the right to collect taxes and revenues from the peasants and farmers. These lands were called Zagirs. Often Mansabdars had to serve outside their Zagirs. Therefore, the revenue for their from their jagi was controlled by their servants. The main responsibility of this zamindar in the Mughal administration was to collect taxes from peasants and farmers and submit the same to the central government revenue department. Therefore, zamindars were also a part of administration. Another thing is that Akbar introduced a system of new religious concept, Deen-e Ilahi. That's why Akbar always called the missionaries of different religions in his Ibadat Khana and heard their religious views, asked questions in order to satisfy his thirst for knowledge. The debates with the religious communities, religious scholars made Akbar realize about the religious concepts unknown to him. He also came to know about the dogmatic practices of the Hindus. Akbar also felt that in his administration some old traditional system by the conservative should be immediately abolished. That's why Akbar introduced many reforms without caring of the interest of the conservative people, because Akbar was very much strict in his own principle, and whatever he would do, whatever he did, he did it perfectly, and always did it with a view to welfare for the people, welfare for the society, welfare for the country. Akbar realized that the teachings of different religious sense would help him to gain much knowledge. That's why he called meetings with the Sufi saints and other saints of different religious communities. That's why during the reign of Akbar, the law and order was established strongly. The communities of different religions, they also were happy and paid high respect for Akbar, and that's why he was known as Akbar the Great. The Mughals did not like to be called Mughals or Mongols because of Genghis Khan's image, because from Genghis Khan, both Genghis Khan and Taimur Lung, both of them were invaders, but there was a relation through family. There was a blood connection in between the Mughals and Genghis Khan and Taimur Lung. It is due to that reason Akbar had become very much courageous, brave, and at the same time he was polite in nature and behavior. Therefore, Mughals like to be associated with Timurid descent. The income from the land revenue helped the Mughals to be rich and prosperous. It was the most important source of income. Money thus collected was invested on building forts, wars, and for the welfare of the people of the country. It was so important that for the proper cultivation of land revenue. Todormal followed a good policy of measuring lands as per the character of the lands. It gave Akbar a great opportunity to collect taxes and revenues smoothly from the peasants and farmers. And peasants and farmers paid taxes as much as they were assessed without without making any hesitation. There was no contrast between rich and poor, high and low during the administration of Akbar. Akbar himself was all in all in his administration, but yet for the assistance of Akbar, a number of posts were created like Mir Bakshi, like Sipai, Qazi, Daroga-i-Dag, Diwan. These were the special, posts created by Akbar. Diwan maintained the expenditure of the state. Diwan sanctioned money for the state. Diwan assessed the amount of taxes and revenues collected through the whole year. Darogai maintained law and order in the country, supervised royal mint. Khan-i-Saman responsible for the imperial household, and then Qazi, he was the head of the judicial department. Qazi, Chief Justice. Mir Bakshi headed the intelligence department and ran the military affairs of the empire. A number of spies also were appointed through Mir Bakshi. Mir Bakshi was an intelligence department. Mir Bakshi collected information from different sources and sent it to the emperor. Besides, a good network of spy system also was introduced by the department of Mir Bakshi and by emperor himself. Besides, emperor moved here and there in disguise, and when he moved here and there, no one could recognize him as the emperor of India, Akbar the Great, because he was in disguise and asked questions to the peasants and farmers whether they were happy, asked questions to the people of India whether they were happy under the rule of Akbar, and what were their grievances, whether there should be any addition or alteration in the system of administration. They, in consultation with them, Akbar would decide it. And then he brought certain changes in the system of administration in order to make it acceptable, more and more acceptable to the people of India. Akbar, strengthened the military power. That's why he was able to make a very powerful army in India. Akbar, for his own convenience, has divided many subas controlled by the subedars or governors. These subas were further divided into sarkars or districts, further divided into parganas. The villagers formed their lowest level in the administrative structure of the empire, and the village headman, who was the senior-most member of a family in the village, looked after the village administration, and under his report, the decision was taken by the other officers whether the villagers had any grievance, whether the law and order was established properly, whether they were leading a very peaceful life. So these were the informations given to the head of the administration, emperor, and the subedar was assisted as the diwan. Mir Bakshi, Qazi, these were the posts created by Akbar, in order to collect taxes, in order to assess taxes, and in order to look after the entire system of administration. Besides, emperor could cut across the hierarchy at any point of time for any reason, either to reward a junior or official for the meritorious service, or to remove anyone else from service for corruption. That means Akbar established a policy of honesty. He disliked dishonesty. That's why he framed many policies, and according to which each and every person of the society of the country were asked to lead a very pious life, a very honest life up to this my Thank you.